So, the Coyotes officially played their last game as a franchise last night, and yeah, it was you know, I mean, I didn't get a chance to see any of the game, but I had heard a lot of stuff from it. You know, good turnout from the fans, a lot of tears from the fans, which a lot of people would think, how's that possible? Arizona doesn't have fans. Yeah, they do. They do have fans, and those fans are, they're a relative. The fans they're a definitely passionate fan base. They can be, but the thing that got me, I mean, not only are they on their way to Salt Lake City, Utah now, but how crappy is this owner of theirs? He didn't even have the balls to show up to the last game in that franchise's history in Arizona. He didn't even show up. Why? Are you afraid you're going to get booed out of the building? Are you afraid some fans are going to say some colorful words to you? You should. You should expect that. Because what have you done for them? You've done nothing for them. You lied to them. You lied to the NHL. I don't know how you even got. I don't even know how he even got a hold of this team. I mean, honestly, you'd think the NHL would do a little better vetting, because this guy to me is just a disgrace. I mean, to completely lie and gaslight your fans like you did, like he did. I mean, you kept telling the fans there's going to be good things ahead. We're going to get an arena done. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. You did nothing. You didn't. You couldn't. You decided you didn't want to pay your bills. You didn't want to pay the rent and the taxes on Gila River Arena. So you almost get kicked out of there. You basically do get kicked out of there because the city of Glendale said, "Yeah, no, we're done with you," and so they kicked you out. So you have to move to Mullet Arena, where you're still saying, as the owner, you're still saying to the fans, "We're going to get this. We're going to get. We've got this land. We're going to do this. We've got this cool thing in Tempe that's going to come up. We're going to win that, and it's all going to be, rainbow, unicorns and rainbows, and and puppies, and whatever." Painting this incredible picture for the fans. The Tempe thing just, not only failed miserably. I mean, it wasn't even close. And when you go and come to find out, the odds of them winning that was going to be very long. And needless to say, they did not win it. So, Tempe gets to keep their landfill. How bad is it when the people at Tempe say, "Yeah, we'd rather have a landfill over here on this land than have you build an arena here," even though they swore, all privately funded. So you're going to privately fund to build all this stuff, but yet you can't pay the bills to stay at Gila River Arena. You couldn't pay hotel bills to the point where the NHL themselves had to step in and say, "No, you have to do this." And then the hotel chains go and say, "Yeah, if you're staying at these hotels, we need payment up front. We need a certified check up front. And it was insane. And the fact too that, he kept saying to the NHL, yeah, I'm going to do this. I'm going to have all this stuff. He never did any of it. He never did any of it. And when the NHL comes at him with a hard and fast deadline, which they actually did have a deadline. I was surprised when I heard that, because I kept saying a couple of months ago, the NHL needs to put a deadline on this and say, if you don't have something figured out by here, we're done. Come to find out, behind the scenes, they did have that, and it was first of the year. First of the year came. He said, they said, you got anything? And he's like, nope. Well, okay. So then that's when the NHL went and got a hold and started talking to Ryan Smith and the Smith Entertainment Group. And the whole thing too of, they go to Marijuelo and they say, are you actually going to get an arena done here? Can you get the land? Can you get is this something you're going to be able to do? Can you guarantee this? And he said no. So the NHL said, yeah, no, we're done then. So they started the process of trying to get a sale done. The thing that gets me, though, is even after all that, the fans don't know any of this. The fans don't know any of it. That all this is going on behind the scenes. He's still putting out renderings of what this arena is going to look like. He's saying, yep, I'm going to go after this land. I'm going to do this. I'm going to take this land over. I'm going to build this great arena, this whole nice arena district, everything. Basically the same thing that he talked about doing in Tempe. I'm going to do this over here. Piggybacking up against Scottsdale in North Phoenix. Well, then the Scottsdale mayor comes out. He says, I don't like this idea, which then he backtracked on, which I thought, why would you make those comments and just a few days later you're saying, oh, it's all great? Something fishy happening there. But so he's telling the fans, that all this stuff is going to happen. We're going to win this land auction, and we're thinking the whole time, okay, well, I guess, the Coyotes are going to be staying, and we'll see if they can win this land auction and see her and whatever. But that would have meant, even if they would have won that land, it still would have been at least 3 years, if not 4 or 5, that they were going to be in Mullet Arena still. Well, the NHL's like, yeah, we can't do that. We're not doing that. And the player, a lot of visiting players, they didn't like playing out of there. It was just a disaster. And so when it's finally put out there to fans, which a lot of fans, the light switch that turned on for a lot of fans was when the news came out saying the NHL had 2 different schedules for the Coyotes. One if they stayed in Arizona, and one if they moved to Salt Lake City. That's when a lot of fans were like, wait, why do you have 2 different schedules? Which even I was kind of like, So they got a schedule for the Coyotes, but then they got one for Utah, which opened a lot of people's eyes to, maybe something is up here. Come to find out that then it all started coming out saying, yeah, they're being sold. They're being sold, and they're going to get moved to Salt Lake City. And just the fact of then a lot of, the coach had to literally demand that somebody from the front office come and talk to the players about what the heck is going on here. Where then Bill Armstrong, the GM, had to fly in and basically tell all the players, yeah, you're going to Utah. So, prepare for that. Which at least to the players, at least all the players are getting $25,000 to help their fan, or to help them during the relocate to Utah. So that's a good thing, because the players, their families, kids, all that, to find out, yeah, well, we're going to Utah. Okay. But then the owner is still just, he's, I'm going to win this auction. I'm going to do this. I don't think he's going to do anything. The fact that he is supposed to have all this money, but yet he can't pay the bills. He couldn't pay the bills on Gila River. He didn't want to pay hotel bills. He didn't want to do any of this stuff. And he didn't want to even let his staff know. A lot of the staff and the hockey operations people found out on Twitter that they were leaving. Nobody from the organization came to say, not Alex Meruelo, not Javier Gutierrez, nobody. And how again, I've seen crappy ownership before, but this guy is just, I'm sorry, this guy to me is just a sleazeball for what he did, for what he did to the fans and everything. And they were there for more. They were there for, they left when I went away to college. When I went off to college, that was the first year that they started in Arizona. Now I've made the comparison of what honestly would have been the difference if they would have just stayed in Winnipeg. We know the Canadian dollar and the Canadian economy was in the toilet at the time. And Quebec had already left. Winnipeg was leaving. And the Canadian economy was so bad that Edmonton and Calgary were thinking that they were going to get moved. But when you look back at everything that happened in Arizona, they left Winnipeg. They didn't make any money at any point. They made, it was crazy. They never turned a profit, which is why I said, what would have been the difference if they'd just kept them there in Winnipeg? Okay, they'd have gone through some economic hardships in Canada, but honestly, again, would they have probably been better off just staying in Winnipeg? Probably. Because eventually, eventually they would have come out of that and actually would have started making money again. Arizona, they never did. They never turned a profit. They spent, from 1996 until 2024, so you're talking 28 years. They were in Arizona for 28 years. And you never make money? It's just weird. But the fact too that the fans, they sold out Mullet. A lot of the fans, a lot of people there are thinking, this is just the end of one chapter. It's not, it's the whole adage of, it's not goodbye. It's, see you down the road. Maybe. But if I'm the Arizona fans, I don't want this guy anywhere near another team in Arizona. I don't care if he is the one who buys this land, builds this building. You want to do that? Okay, fine. Go reactivate the franchise. The fans, I don't think are going to want you as the owner of that team, because what have you done for them? You haven't done anything. You lied to them. You gaslit them. You screwed them over. You basically screwed them out of their team. Now, yes, did a lot of people think, Arizona didn't really have fans? No, they had fans. They had some relatively nice jerseys too. I'm still bummed that I'm glad I got this one. Still bummed I couldn't get the purple one. Really would have loved that purple one. That was such a nice color and a nice jersey. But the Arizona Coyotes as a franchise, yep, they never turned a profit. They never made money. They were not a really good team, especially, from an organizational standpoint. But a lot of good things came from having the Arizona Coyotes. I almost said Cardinals. From having the Arizona Coyotes there. A lot of youth hockey programs started up, which I hope that continues. I know without an NHL team, it's entirely possible that falls apart. I hope it doesn't, because we have Austin Matthews in the NHL because of the fact that the Arizona Coyotes existed. So, which is good, and we hope the youth hockey thing continues down there, even though they're not going to have an NHL team. We'll have to see if they actually get one back. I still am going to have a hard time. I mean, now that the Coyotes are gone, now that the Coyotes are done, I really have a hard time thinking that Alex Meruelo is actually going to move forward with this land auction. What's the point for him? Especially now, the fact that he did all this to the fans and everything, and he's going to be walking away with potentially $500 million, which I don't think is right. I don't think that's right at all. But he's the owner, and I mean, I don't think he's going to move forward with this auction. I really don't. If he does, cool. But now that the Coyotes are gone, now that he's sold the Coyotes and they're off to Salt Lake City, what's the motivation for him to keep it? Why would he want it? Why would he want to keep? Why would he want to even try to do anything more? He seems to be the only thing he seems to be in this for is the money, and he's getting a good chunk of change back. But yeah, I would not want this guy anywhere near my team if I'm a Coyotes fan. If I'm just a fan of hockey in Arizona, I don't want this guy anywhere near. And I don't blame him. And, the official announcement hasn't quite happened yet. But they're going to be off to Salt Lake City, Utah. And I think Salt Lake City's going to have a pretty decent team, I think. This is a good young team. And it's going to be interesting. It really is going to be interesting that what kind of team they're going to get. in Salt Lake City. It will be interesting too, because once they do make the announcement and they move and everything, Salt Lake City, and I got to think they're already in the process of this, probably trying to design jerseys, trying to come up with a name for the team, which I'm not sure what they'll pick. Hopefully it'll be a good. Hopefully it'll be a good one. I personally still would go with the ECHL name and take that name from the ECHL team, and then you could, and then the ECHL team comes up with a different name or whatever. I think that would be fantastic, and if it flows together. Utah Grizzlies, I think would be fantastic for an NHL team. I've seen the logo of the ECHL team. Keep that logo. It would be phenomenal. And I think now, do I think that they'll actually keep the name or use the name Grizzlies? I don't. I think they'll come up with something new. I don't know what they'll come up with, but hopefully it's pretty good. Hopefully it'll flow nice. It'll roll off the tongue. That's why I say Utah Grizzlies just kind of rolls off the tongue. It sounds perfect. But there's a number of names that they're floating around, and we'll see if they do it or not. And yeah, so it should be interesting. Now, and of course I read this now. I wonder how does that work? Wow. Okay. Just read a story here about the Coyotes. Shane Doan, who had his jersey retired. Well, apparently his retirement banner was just left at Gila River Arena. They took it down and threw it away. But fortunately, somebody found it in the dumpster and retrieved it and gave it back to Shane Doan, thankfully. But why would you throw that in the dumpster? Why would you throw the guy, the guy's retirement banner in the dumpster? It's really odd. But yeah. So the Arizona Coyotes, they're off to Salt Lake City now. And yeah. Yeah, it's interesting hearing, in this little article. It's already a tough moment for fans of the franchise that see the team relocate to Utah, disrespecting the team's past success and one of the best players to play for them is a really questionable move by the organization. Yeah, why would you do that? You're going to take the banner down and just throw it away? His retirement banner? Yeah, that's dirty. But what should we be expected? What should be expected by the Alex Meruelo era of the Arizona Coyotes? An era that is not going to be remembered very fondly. So let me know what you guys think. We await the announcement of the official move to Utah, and yeah, and we'll see. We'll see if Meruelo goes through with the auction. And we'll see if in the next maybe 5 years, if the Arizona Coyotes come back. So let me know what you guys think. Let me also know what you guys think of this. To me, I just think he's a dirtbag. To me, Alex Meruelo and his whole crew, to me, are just dirtbags for what they did to the fans of this organization, what they did to the organization itself. But yeah, let me know what you guys think, and please like this video. It'd be greatly appreciated. Please subscribe to the channel. That would also be very, very, very appreciative. I would be very, very appreciative. And yeah, if you want to share this video or any other videos, go right ahead with whoever you'd like. And yeah. And let me know if you guys, if you guys have been in some NHL areas before that have had crappy ownership. Let me know what your guys' thoughts were on some of your guys' ownership if you guys have had crappy owners. But yeah, so this is kind of the last hurrah for the Arizona Coyotes, and you know, the Kachina jerseys and all the Coyotes stuff now kind of become collector's items. So let me know what you guys think. Hit like and subscribe. I'll see you guys later.